Welcome everyone on our session dedicated to global integration apps. During this session, we would like to introduce you 3 applications dedicated to corporate groups which are improving the processes between the companies in the group in the Business Central. We disagree with the statement that Business Central is dedicated mainly for small and medium companies. According to us, it can be also a great tool, a powerful tool for corporate groups, for group companies. And why do we think so? We conducted a survey among our partners, and approximately 49% of implementations of our partners are group companies. So there's a need to support and enhance the processes between companies in the Business Central. And that's why we would like to share with you our 3 applications. These 3 applications have been used in over 300 installations all over the world. Now we would like to introduce you to members of the family of global integration apps. The father of this family, Master Data Management System, brings the global data consistency, allows to synchronize the data between the companies in the group. The advanced intercompany, which improves intercompany trade and allows to exchange different types of sales and purchase documents between companies. And the supplementary app, the child of this family, which is the Intercompany Insights, who brings a possibility to take a look in other companies to verify stock levels, stock availability, and also the customer balances in other groups. And now we would like to tell you a story.
So the story begins in Denmark. This is about Kronos company with headquarters in Copenhagen. The company is manufacturing and selling bicycles. We will be using all 3 applications from our global integration apps family during this short tour. And for the purpose of this presentation, let's assume that Michał is an employee in the sales department of Kronos Denmark, and he just received an inquiry from one of his favorite customers, Bike Lovers, company located in Poznań in Poland. They would like to buy 250 touring bicycles. There is one problem though. These bicycles are not available in Kronos Denmark because they were never bought or sold or manufactured there. However, they are manufactured in Kronos, Germany. So Michał has an idea. What if you could check what is the current stock level of this particular item in Kronos, Germany, and then issue a drop shipment order to ship the goods directly from Kronos, Germany to end customer in Poland. So we will now see how it looks in the system. Great. So right here on this screen we have a Business Central in SaaS. This is the newest version, of course. We have 3 companies in 3 separate tabs. First company is Kronos Master, which we will use to show you how to manage your master data using Master Data Management System. In the second tab we have Kronos Denmark, which will be acting as a buying company through our scenario. And on the third tab we have Kronos Germany, which will be the selling company in our case. So the story begins when Michał would like to check what is the current stock level of touring bicycle in Kronos, Germany. In order to check this, he logs into our Kronos Master company, goes to Intercompany Inventory Overview. Here we see all the different items that are available in our intercompany partners. We can refresh this data to get the most up-to-date results. Great. And using search and filtering, we can check whether this particular bike is available in Germany. We can see that, yeah, we're good to go. Basically, we have 1,000 of these bicycles available in our Hamburg location in Kronos, Germany. So we should be safe to proceed with our dropshipment process. However, Michał has a doubt. Why didn't this customer reach out to Kronos, Germany in the first place? Right? That would be probably much easier. So we need to check one more thing. We need to verify whether this customer does not have any overdue balance in Kronos, Germany. We can check this using customer balance overview page, which is part of our Intercompany Insights app. It works in a similar fashion to inventory availability overview. Also, we can refresh the data in order to get most up-to-date results. We can search this customer and we can actually see that we're good to go. This customer does not have any overdue balance in Kronos, Germany. So let's sum up the key features of Intercompany Insights. Intercompany Insights allows us to keep track of both stock availability information and customer balances in real time. As all our apps, we need to maintain compatibility between different versions, even of Dynamics NIV and Business Central. That is why we are using web services for communication as an industry standard, and we support all common authentication modes, which is both basic authentication and all-out authentication across different databases. So let's go back to the system. Great. So now that we have checked that this item is available in Kronos, Germany, we need to make sure that this item card, together with all relevant data, is also available in Kronos, Denmark, in order for us to proceed with the sales transaction. So we are now going to see a little bit of master data management system. We are still in a Kronos master company. Michał goes to items list. We need to locate this item, and we need to open up a receivers list. This basically drives which receiving companies, which different Kronos entities across the world will receive both this item data as well as all the different details and different supplementary tables like item unit of measure, item variance if needed, production BOM, and so on. So what we need to do, we need to highlight that this item should be also received by Kronos Denmark. After we close the page, after we confirm the changes, master data management system replication engine that is running on standard job key functionality should pick it up and push this item details to Kronos Denmark. However, as it might take a while, usually a couple of minutes, depending on our job queue setup, now Michał will give you a brief introduction to key master data management system features.
Okay, this is what you just saw. It's just a part of the master data management system. Everything happened in the background. Basically, nothing special actually. So, what is the concept of the master data management system? As you can see on this diagram, the idea is that we have one master company and we have local entities to which we'll be sending the data to. So in the master company, we need to specify the receiver, so who is going to get the data. It also have the description of the connections information, so we can decide what's the authentication type and so on the receiver card. Then you need to specify what you are going to maintain on a global level. So what set of the data, what should be the data set synchronized within local companies. You can choose any table you want from the application. You can choose which fields should be synchronized. You can set up the synchronization rules there. I'll just show that in a minute in the system. And then you need to combine this together on the replication. So replication is the place from which we manage the synchronization. It connects the dataset and receiver together. And you can also decide what type of replication will you run. So you can run the full replication, so whole package of the data will be moved, or you can just run the incremental replication. So just the changes since last replication will be sent to the local entity. And on the local company side, the only thing you need to do is to publish web service. So web service is the way we are handling the communication. And master company calls the web service on the other side and sends the data to the receiver. Okay, let's switch back to the system. I will show you these 3 places. So first of all, receiver, right? I'll open the receiver card for Kronos Denmark maybe. So you can see here that we have the web service tab when you can specify the authentication method. So depending on an environment you have, if it's on cloud, on-prem solution, you can either choose the Azure Active Directory or you can use the basic authentication still on-prem solutions. Then you need to update the web service address from your local receiver company and then the credential for the authentication. So depending on the method, you have different set of options to be set up here. The client ID, client secret, scope, and tenant ID in the case of the AAD. So that's the receiver card, so to who we will be sending data to. Then we have the data set. If we search for data sets, we will have a few options here, few pre-configured settings. I'll open the items because this is the one we are using now. And you can see that we have a couple tables here. So in each line you can specify which table should be maintained on a global level. We have item table, we have item unit of measure, item variant. These dictionaries are connected to the item. You can see the indentation here. So it means that whenever you replicate the item, also the connected dictionaries will be replicated. And also we have the production bomb here included. You can specify any table you want. It doesn't need to be the table from the base app. It can be any table from your application. It can be any table from your extension as well. You can specify also what should happen locally, if the record should be updated or skipped. You can manage from here the synchronization rules. So we can decide if the local insertion, local deletion should be forbidden for users. So here from the master level, you decide what users will be able to change, modify in local entities, local companies, just to provide the data consistency. You can set up the block exclude filter just to make some of the ranges of the data available for the local modifications. And also you can, for instance, set run trigger on insert, run trigger on modify, so when sending the data, local business logic will be triggered as well. There's a couple more options here. And for each table you can specify fields. So you can choose which fields should be maintained on a global level. You can decide that the field will be validated when synchronizing to the local company. You can also enable or disable the local modification of the field from this level. And a couple additional options for advanced features of the MDMS. So that is the data set basically. And we need to combine the receiver and the data set on the replication. So if we go to replications, if we open the one dedicated for Kronos Denmark, you can see here now that I have the receiver number specified in the header, and I have the items data set in the lines. Per replication you might have multiple data sets, so it doesn't need to be one. And then you have a few options to manage the replications from here. You have the run full replication, which I mentioned, if you want to push all the data from datasets to the local subsidiaries. Or you can run the incremental replication, so once you already run the full, let's say you would like to push just the changes, you can use this action to push just the recent changes to the local company. And both these actions can be automated using job queues. So you can specify that maybe every 5 minutes, 1 hour, maybe daily, the update will be run. Okay, let's come back to the presentation. And just to summarize what you just saw, what are the features of the MDMS? So the data sets for any table. As I mentioned, you can specify any table you want. Moreover, you can put the filters there. So there is a filtering option just to get the requested data from the master company. So the web service communication, depending on the environment, different authentication methods to be set up. So the communication works not only in the same database, but we can have different servers or even different tenants. We have the functionality also called record status management. This functionality gives you the possibility to check if the record is up to date. Maybe that's the correct that's the correct sentence. So application is checking if all global fields in each company are the same, and then you have the information if there are some discrepancies between the data in companies. We have entries registration. So we have the tracking log entries. So in tracking log entries, you can see all the changes registered by the system. That's very similar functionality to the change log. And then all the tracking entries are processed during the incremental replication. We have the replication log entries, so the history of run replications, and performance log entries. So a system can track or register the time actually, how long does it take to prepare a package to be sent, and the synchronization, how long does it take, so you can keep tracking the performance of the application. So we can manage also the local rules from the centralized level, from the master company. We have different types of receivers. So we have the group receiver also, so you can set up one receiver with one general receiver when you have receivers included, and then you will have one replication for all these included receivers. We have the synchronization options, so full and incremental. We support also the deletion process. So from the master level, you can either delete the item, for instance, from all companies at once, and you can choose from which entity the item should be deleted. And we provide the compatibility between different versions of the BC. Okay, let's continue with our story then.
All right, thank you, Michał, for this quick overview of the core features of master data management system. Now we'll switch back to our story. However, first, let's take a quick look at what is about to happen, right? So we are now entering a standard drop shipment scenario that we have enhanced just a little bit. We'll start out with creating a sales order to the end customer. Afterwards, we will create a drop shipment purchase order, still being in Kronos, Denmark. This purchase order will be sent using advanced Intercompany app right to the Kronos, Germany, where it will become a sales order. We'll also during that step, we'll also be able to verify what are the quantities, prices, dates, and so on when they are acceptable. We'll enter a kind of a negotiations phase where we will exchange all the updates and confirmations until the orders have been finally confirmed on both ends. So both purchase order and sales order, they need to be exactly the same, right? After we get this confirmation, we'll be able to proceed with the shipment and the invoice from Kronos, Germany. We'll issue a shipment to the final customer. We'll issue an invoice to Kronos, Denmark, and this will conclude our process. Now let's switch back to the system. Let's start it out. Great, so now we are back In Kronos, Denmark, we have our purchase order, and we can see that the status code is now accepted, meaning that our intercompany partner has already approved the document in the buffer. We can also see that there is a message in a buffer waiting our attention. So let's take a look at it now. We have a buffer document waiting for us. After we validate it, we can see that there's a couple of new values that we should take a look here, right? On each buffer document, we have 3 notification types available. These are information, warnings, and errors, right? Information is something of a little to no importance. Usually, warnings, whenever there is a warning in a buffer document, this means that it usually requires some attention, right? We need to check something, and we will not be able to accept the document until we acknowledge that we have confirmed the messages. And last but not least, we have errors. Pretty self-explanatory. This means that whenever there's an error in the buffer document, we'll simply not be able to accept it, right? Right now, let's focus on warnings, because there's a warning. And here on the screen, there's a field difference that has been identified. Advanced Intercompany allows you to define not only which fields you would like to exchange between intercompany partners, but also whether you would like to keep track of any changes to these fields. For instance, in our scenario, we said in the message definition that whenever there is a difference in direct unit cost between our document and the confirmation that our intercompany partner sent, it should end up as a warning, basically, right? So now when we try to accept the document, we'll see that the system double checks whether we really would like to continue. Yes, we do. Now the order has been updated. Great. Now it is confirmed. And actually, we also need to send back the confirmation that it's fine for us as well. Great. So now both companies have agreed on the document contents.
So once I send the confirmation to Kronos Germany, Tomasz can see on the sales order that the status is confirmed. So that's the moment when he can start shipping. He is going to post both invoice and shipment. And after that, he can send both documents to Kronos Denmark. One type of the document which we send will be the shipment notification. He can do this directly from the sales shipment document using the IIC send action. This can also be automated by the job queues. You can set this up in IIC settings. And also the posted sales invoice, he used the IIC send action. And both messages has been sent to Kronos Denmark now.
So we're back in Kronos Denmark. We have just posted both shipment and invoice in Kronos Germany. We can see that the document status code has now changed to closed, meaning that basically this document no longer exists in our intercompany partner company. However, we have pending posted buffer documents awaiting our attention, right? So we have a shipment notification and invoice. Let's take a look at the shipment notification. Let's quickly validate the document and check the contents. We're good to go. After we accept the shipping notification, and again, this is something that can be fully automated, every single step that we have seen so far can be processed automatically, meaning that only whenever there is something that deviates from the regular process or requires some extra attention, like warning, this document can be sitting in a buffer waiting for some human attention, right? All other steps, whenever we have a document that does not require any further insight, it can be automated from start to finish. So now we have posted shipment notification. This is a drop shipment order, and that is why this means that once we accepted the shipment notification, system posted both receipt on the purchase order side and shipment on the sales order side, because this is a drop shipment, right? So the quantity receipt has been updated. That is applicable to drop shipment process. If this was a regular sales and regular purchase, we would not be able to post the actual item receipt because the goods would be still in transit to our premises, right? And in that case, we would only see that that the shipment status has changed as in here, and that the shipped quantity has been updated, right? However, since this is a drop shipment order, it was already posted, right? So now we need to take care of the invoice. Here we'll have one extra step that we need to take care of. After we validate and try to accept the invoice, it will fail. And the reason why it fails is that this is a drop shipment document, and this is a standard feature of Business Central that we simply cannot post the invoice for the purchase part until the sales order has been fully invoiced. So we need to locate our sales order and we need to post the invoice because the shipment has already been posted together with the purchase, as these were linked transactions. Let's post the sales order to the end customer. Great. And now, once we go back to our buffer document, we'll see that it can now be accepted. Great. Now, the orders are fully posted on both ends, and this actually concludes our demo of dropshipment process of advanced intercompany.
Let's come back to the presentation for a moment now, just to summarize what we did. So let's start with the messages flow. So what happens between orders and what was the statuses, how they behave during the process. We have the purchase order, we have the sales order on different sites, communication done via web service. First we created the purchase order, we released it, and the status was set to outbound. So the message was pending in the buffer to be sent to IC partner. Once we triggered the report sent outbound messages, the status has been changed to sent, and the message achieved the sales buffer. So now the IC partner needed to validate and accept the buffer message, and as the result, the sales order with status new has been created. Then after releasing this, it has been changed to outbound. Using the report sent outbound messages, the status has been changed to sent, and again it was sent to the purchase buffer of the buyer company. The status has been automatically changed to accepted, and after confirming and validating the buffer message, it has been changed to confirmed. The confirmation needed to be sent back to our selling company. Again, it reached the sales buffer, and after validation and acceptance, the status has been changed to confirmed. So now on both sides we have two confirmed orders, and the shipment process could start. So IC partner, our selling company, has posted both the sales invoice and the shipment. We received two messages in the buying company, one with the shipment notification, the second one with the invoice confirmation. The status has been changed to closed, and this messages could be processed in order to automatically post the receipt and shipment on the connected drop shipment orders, and also at the end the posted purchase invoice. So that was the messages flow of the drop shipment process of advanced intercompany. And then the features, because that was just one process available in this application. We in general we support different documents exchange communication. So not only the sales order and purchase order, but also the sales invoice, purchase invoice, sales credit memo, purchase credit memo, and it's the document we call standalone invoices. Standalone invoices could be the service invoices when you just create the sales invoice on the selling company side, and you send this document to the buying company, you get the purchase invoice as the result. So there is no negotiation process, just sending one-to-one a document. The data which are sent, which is exchanged between the companies, it's fully configurable. So for each type of the message, you have the possibility to set the templates and which fields should be exchanged between the companies. So if you have any customizations, you have any additional fields which needs to be sent between the companies, you can easily do this. The status management, it is handled with the IIC statuses. So what you just basically saw. Support for the dropshipment process you also saw during this presentation. The automation. Each step of the process, each action, each type of the message, it can be also automated with job queues. You doesn't need to automate the full process. You can also automate just part of the processes. So let's say that you would like to handle till the moment of the confirmation everything automatically, and then the posting should happen manually. You can do this. It's easily configurable with the application. If you use item trackings, we also support the item tracking synchronization. It is sent with the shipment notification. So when the selling company ships goods, also the tracking lines can be synchronized to the buying company. We handle different kind of mappings. So you can decide how the data should be mapped between different types and numbers if your master data is not aligned between the companies. And we also provide a data transformation. So if you would like to transfer the field of the values somehow, you can also decide that in this company that should be value of the field, and in that company it should be different value. We have this verification of the incoming documents, so tracking the changes, and the system is putting this in information warnings and error sections. And also the different behavior of the system can be depending on the section where the messages go to. We support also the pre-invoice process. Pre-invoice process is a special functionality to give you the overview of the goods in transit, of the overview of the value of these goods and the quantity of these goods. Because when the selling company is shipping the goods, temporarily the stock is not visible in buying and selling company. So to allow you for when you have any headquarter monitoring the goods which are in transit, we introduce the pre-invoice functionality. So we temporarily put it on the stock on the virtual location called pre-invoice, and then when the goods physically arrives, we make the transfer order between the locations. So from the headquarter perspective, the stock value and the quantity is still available in the system. And the communication is handled via web services. So like on all other applications you saw, we support the basic and all authentications. Okay. And what do we plan in the future? For master data management system, we would like to focus on the pull mechanism, so you could subscribe the specific records from the local level. We would like to introduce also the possibility to synchronize, to run the full replication for a single dataset line, and also introduce the images synchronization. For advanced intercompany, the main focus will be the support for different new types of documents, so return orders document and standalone credit memos, and also for the blanket sales orders. And for Intercompany Insights, in order it could work, you need to have the same numbering now. So we would like to introduce the mapping functionality to also have this application fully working in case you have different numbering of the master data. More you can find our doc site. You can see the current status of these features and the progress and also other planned functionalities. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much.